Hey guys, so how's everyone doing? I hope you're doing well. Got the wild thing running. I got my carburetor. I ended up buying a HIPAA carburetor myself. You know, they gave me the parts to do the 290 build. By now you should have seen a little video on my phone showing the carburetor they sent us, but I was searching for a carburetor on eBay and ran across their kit. I got it on, it's all fired up and runs, but has a massive air leak, and it's right around the cylinder base. Maybe I can start it up and show you what it's doing. And if you run one with an air leak, just run it very minimal. It'll make a liar out of me. It's actually pretty common for the sealant to, you know, lose its seal around the bottom of those. I've actually heard some local people call it a base gasket. Well, it's not. There's no gasket there, but I don't really know how much battery life I've got on this GoPro, but I'd honestly thought about videoing tearing it down, so if the battery goes dead, you know, we'd bring you back. But what are we doing with this thing? I know somebody's like, why in the world does he have that? Cause I wanted it, to be brutally honest with you, and that's about the best explanation I can give you, I guess. I bought one new, I'm gonna say in 05. It was a Strato version, 40 cc's. Right out of the box, it didn't run right. The high jet on the carb was tuned way too lean. That's an easy fix, I guess, but I've seen a lot of stuff that way. My brand new Husqvarna trimmer I bought, it's been, I guess, going on 2 years now. March or April will make 2 years, and the bolt holes are stripped out, so I put steel handlebar bolts in it. This one up front, I even had to do the zip tie trick on. The flywheel and cool. I honestly about believe to pull out the flywheel on it, but we'll have to see. Let's go ahead and take the carburetor set up back off first. I don't even know if I'll get the whole thing down tonight. If not, we may make a pause it and start back tomorrow. If it quits pouring the rain, I'm heading toward the house. But I called in and told the wife, I said, well, till this monsoon lets up, we're going to sit in there and tear the wild thing down. We got plenty of videos lined up coming. Got a 290 showed up here today. It belongs to Simple Man's Buddy, the logger. I think I'd mentioned it in the 250 video. I think they said they fueled the saw up and dang thing locked up when they got it running. But I have noticed some muffler bolts about falling out of it, so who knows what we're gonna find there. But I will say this carburetor, if you order it, you have to really modify this box that comes on the saw. But lucky for me, I have a plethora of jump saws, and this is one off of like a Craftsman that uses the cable to work the carburetor. And what it is, the carburetor that came on this don't have the high idle for the choke, and this does, and it needed extra room, I guess you could say, to work. They probably half of you guys cringing that I'm even wasting time working on this right now, but you know, it is what it is. I wanted it to play with. The other one, I redone it. It's been a while back. Been done at Dad's ever since. I brung it back up here once and redone the lines on it again. I think we ran that saw up from 2005 probably up to, I'm gonna say 2015. Before it gave up the ghost. That's when I bought the Husqvarna 440, which has been an awesome saw. There ain't nobody could go wrong with one of those. Just an awesome little saw. I'm gonna pause you guys 1 second. I got fuel going everywhere. I had to get in my little jug of bolts over there and find a screw to screw in the end of our fuel line. I did bleed off the tank pressure, but evidently she's still wanting to pour out. Let's see what we need for this clutch. I am probably gonna have to dig around. Guess what? Get to pause you guys again. Alright, well, this thing should work. I hope you guys can halfway see what I'm doing. I'll get it in here right. I've got a roof leak. This building's not very old, 36 years old. Already got brush or something laying on it. And what that is, and you can use this on a Husky and a lot of other saws. Some of you will know what it is, but that is actually the tool that you can use to turn in the drum brakes on a lot of GM and Ford vehicles. I guess some foreign vehicles are made that way. I used to have the whole big set that I bought from Matco, but when I stopped mechanicking as a profession, I got rid of all of that stuff. And ended up with one of the cars I had here needed shoes put on the back, and went to Advance and ended up buying that. And I found a lot of other uses for it since then, I guess. And what do we got here? I'm trying to think if that needs to come out or not. I'm assuming it does. It's like we got one screw here, and there should be another one somewhere else right here. Pause you guys and get a Phillips head screwdriver. We're back. And I'm probably just gonna fix this and put it back together if everything looks good and sound, because I really want to run it in stock form first. And they're really not that hard to take apart either, so you know, it's not that big of an issue either way. And there's no AV mounts to this at all. She's a hard body. That should just pull out, I think. Yeah, that is our oil pump assembly. Bar guide. Pretty simple setup, really. It does have a hose that goes kind of down here and onto a nipple. I highly doubt you can see it, but you can just take my word for it. Oil pump feels fine, and it was old on what little I've run on it, truthfully. There's your worm gear. It just kind of slides on the crankshaft. Let's see, muffler. And I've not inspected the cylinder on this junk or nothing, so what I find here is, you know, I'll show it to you guys, and hopefully we can get it apart here in a timely fashion. I think after this flywheel and the, we probably could have pulled the muffler off with it, truthfully. I'm just glad the bolts are coming out. I actually have one of these mufflers somewhere that's a lot nicer, but it's off one of the Stratos saws, and chances of that thing fitting are probably slim to none. I've actually got a Craftsman down here in the box from the late 90s. It's one of the AV saws. It was one of my first R&D saws. We kind of took it really far to the point where we had free port going, and it runs, but it idles like really fast, and it's kind of useless. And this should have like a sleeve in the exhaust port. And it does. Once you remove that, the exhaust port on it's pretty dang clean. Not a lot of carbon in that little sleeve either, to be honest with you. And honestly, I'm going to put it back together just like it is, as long as not a lot of carbon on the piston. And if I told you guys how much compression this thing has, you'd probably call me a liar. And I checked it with 2 different gauges. I come up to 175 psi on one, and then my old gauge read like 170. Like I've said before, I know that old gauge reads low. It kind of blew my mind. So I know there's a little bit of carbon in there, but not as much as I was kind of expecting. I don't know that they were supposed to have that kind of compression, but this one does. It's kind of crazy, to be honest with you. I've seen that before, and then pull them apart and the whole combustion chamber just caked with old carbon, but I don't know. Let me pause you guys one more time and grab a socket, get this flywheel loose. You're back. I paid like almost 200 bucks for a set of Matco sockets, like probably 22 years ago, back when I was young and dumb and didn't know any better. And that's one of probably about 4 of them that I have left. I've lost a lot of stuff over the years. I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate, but I used to waste a lot of money on tool trucks back when I was younger and mechanics every day. I don't guess you could really call it wasting money, but didn't know anything about Harbor Freight back then. I knew there was a Northern Tools, but it was something like, gosh, hour and a half, 2 hours away, about an hour and a half away, I guess. We're about to get this thing tore down, guys. Get the flywheel off and the 4 bolts out the bottom, and I don't know that I'm going to be able to use this method. I don't want to bust up my starter pulls. Sometimes you can frail the side of the flywheel a little. There we go. And they'll come off. Wasn't really a good way to get in there to hit that nut, and you know, we didn't hurt a thing. I just barely picking on it, and even my smallest puller I don't think's fitting in there around that. Got a washer I'm trying to get off, but we'll just pull it off with the flywheel. And I'm willing to about bet. Yeah. Well, there went a couple bolts, but luckily it fell in the tray back here. We'll have to pick all of that up later. Just my luck. That big long T27 bit on the end of my little 12 volt D-Walt. Yeah, the flywheel key is actually built into the flywheel on this. It's like a lot of your other Sawtella 372s even that way. Oh wow, that's kind of boogered up. Wow. That's a first on me seeing that. Crankshaft looks like crap. Bearings feel... There's a little bit of movement. Like I said, I've got a Craftsman saw down here that has about the same engine in it, but cylinder's garbage on it. It wasn't anything good when we got it. It was probably a better part of getting close to 20 years old before I ever got it and started fooling with it, but who knows, we may get some parts and put it back together, because it is one of the older AV saws with springs. I've also got a 2036 Johnsrud out here. It's on the channel, but it's another one of them that was R&D. We took really far. Really far. I'm talking like right at 180 degrees of duration on the exhaust. I don't remember where I had the intake on that, but I just kept pushing the exhaust, and the damn thing still ran and cut good. Just search it on the channel. In the video that I'm showing it cut, I take note it was turning probably 14.5 out of the cut. In the video I've got it cutting through a pretty good sized piece of oak. But a little secret with these is they have a 6-pin clutch with 3/8 low pro, and you get that chain good and short and get the saw turning some really high revs, and you know, they cut really good. I've cut a lot of firewood with small CC saws. Then we got into I think the first pro level saw I bought was an 026, and hell, it's been downhill from there ever since. Kind of them deals, once you get a hold of a good pro level saw, you just don't look back. And I've talked to others that have said the same thing. You know, we still have several homeowner grade saws here, but as you've seen, we don't really get them out and use them a whole hell of a lot. But it should have the engine out. At least always I hope so. Okay, we've got this little bracket here that's got to come off that holds the wires going to the coil. It just kind of goes on, snaps on the cylinder. We'll just leave the coil and the wire and here intact. And this one looked like it had the stuffers that go in it. Cylinder looks fine. This one may actually be plated. I sure hope so. I know I'm blocking you guys' light, you can't see. And the rest of the saw. Not a lot of carbon buildup, not what I was expecting to see. The newer saws, like the Stratos one I tore down, it's been at my dad's ever since. They have stuffers that go down into they're like composite, I guess, that go down into the cylinder, into the transfers, and make it a closed port design. Wow, this thing's super dirty. It was in bad need of pulling down to be cleaned. That lets us know she has been used, and someone has been running engine oil in it for bar oil, which I do that a lot. No big deal, really. Who cares? But as you can see, there is no damn sealer at all. I think someone may have had it apart, and that looks like what, black RTV up here on it or something. Guys, you have to use fuel resistant sealant. Ultra gray or ultra black or the red, it's just not going to work, or the clear or the blue. Like even this red high temp, it's not going to work. You have to have something that says it's fuel resistant on it. And right here, if I can get the GoPro to pull it up and focus, this is what you want if you're using Permatex. Like if you're going to parts or a hardware store, Advance Auto keeps this in stock. I know O'Reilly's doesn't. They'll kind of look at you and scratch their head. I don't know about AutoZone or any of the other big name brand stores, but $11 at Advance Auto, and you should be able to see it says fuel resistant. You know, the others may last a little bit, but I'll about bet you and guarantee you eventually the fuel will eat it up. You will have an air leak. I know, like 3-bond and makes a sealant. Any motorcycle sealant that you'd get at like Honda or Suzuki or Kawasaki or any of those places, it's going to be fuel resistant. Loctite makes several different ones, but I like Durco HT. It's just really hard to get. The last tube I got was about half bad. It was hard. I think Durco's actually an epoxy based silicone, but that stuff sets up so hard that you have to take a mallet and knock the cylinder back loose. But what we'll have to do here is, bearings and stuff don't really feel bad, and the seals still have pretty good drag. Not really bad at all. I do know this other saw down here does have new bearings in it. I was dumb enough to waste some money to buy new bearings and seals for it like 6 years ago or something. But hell, these actually feel good. I'll probably just clean this stuff up as far as carbon down in the cylinder. I can still see the squish bands. It's not so bad to cause the I'm trying to look back here and let you guys look down in it as well. I'm probably not doing a good job, but if not, you can take my word for it. There's not enough carbon down in there to cause the super high compression I was seeing. Although it does look like the roof of the exhaust port is damn mild from the squish bands, which means this thing, about like most of these homeowner grade saws, it's probably got 110 degree exhaust opening maybe later. But I honestly think what we're going to do is I'm going to clean this up and get it glued back together and in the saw, and try to get this thing running without an air leak. But I guess this will just be like a part 1 on the wild thing, just kind of a tear down. If I decide to video putting it back together, I will, but I kind of like to just get it back together here tonight. But I don't know, honestly it wouldn't take very long. If I decide the video, we'll just make a part 2 on it, but if not, we'll post up something of it running. But I'm not going to port it right now. We will later, but the transfers on this kind of look about like what would be in a 61 or something, honestly. Doesn't have that stupid bridge down the middle you normally see. Maybe you can get a look, but in all honesty, I believe I can make some power with this cylinder. The goal will be is to get it to turn some crazy high RPMs, to be honest with you. And I think it can be done. There ain't a lot of carburetors there to work with, but for what we're doing here, I believe I can get it to serve the purpose. But as always, thank you guys for watching, and if you backed out at the beginning, I completely and wholeheartedly understand. But thank you all for what you do. Welcome to all the new subs, and maybe this helped someone, maybe it didn't, but you guys have a good one.